Welcome in. Let's go ahead and ground into the vibration, check the energy field, check the sound. Please let me know if you can hear me okay. Please let me know if you can hear me okay. Something very interesting is brewing. There we go. I guess so. There we go. Please let everyone know, Keisha, Austin, I'm going to be silent for a moment. I'm going to be muted. I'm going to be playing a particular song, and there's something in there. He's leading me to it. I can't play it because I'll get a copyright, but there's something that a code I need to pick up. You guys, this is about to be one for the ages. Michael Jackson energy is here. I feel the energy, the telepathic impression in my right knee. Every time I channel Michael Jackson, I often have like my right leg kind of propped up a little bit. There's a lot happening, and you guys are you're connected to this template. It's much larger than we ever thought that it was. I need you guys to help me put some good energy in the chat. Shout out your city, your vibe, your tribe, your mood, what you're working on, how you're feeling, how you're vibing, all of that good stuff. When you come in, like the video and subscribe to this vibration. I'm going to say it, I don't do this stuff for my health. We need to put some good energy in here. It's time to clear out the people who are not here for the right reasons. All right. You can unsubscribe, click off, do what you need to do. But over here, we're cultivating a group of people that are going to add into the collective template, because I don't need you muddying up the waters. Message, pick it up, stir it in your tea, sip it up. It's all about the waters. We cannot have people muddying up the waters right now. And the waters inside of you, the waters outside. The water is divine intelligence. The divine intelligence of the feminine energy is coming back. We're going to talk about Mary Magdalene. We're going to talk about Jesus. We're going to go into some ancient Mesopotamian gods and ancient Egyptian gods. I'm going to tell you guys that cue in another client today. She's also holding codes that fits in. It's not just ancient Egypt, guys, we're looking also at Jesus and Mary Magdalene as well. It's all a timeline thread, because there's truly not many of us spark souls. We all just keep returning until the job is done. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start the silent part of this. I'm listening to some music. I'm going to have myself on mute so I can listen to the music, pick up the codes. It's about to get deep. Austin, do me a favor. I know that come July, God will face his shadow. I need to bring that code up. So if I forget it, when it plugs in, please send me a reminder. Please do. It's about to get big, guys. It's about to get big. You're sick of the telepathy. Too much telepathy. All right. Close down your channels. Hi. Hi, Sydney. Hi, Sydney. Hi, Sydney. Hi, Monica. Hi, Sister Gail. Miss Natalie. Sister Natalie's in the house. Austin, Austin, Keisha, Keisha. Jazzy, Jazzy, Jazzy. All right, let's get it lit. Let's get it started. So I need about a minute to ground into some energies. To be honest with you, there's so much information. It's like, where do I even start? So I need for him to start. And he has actually already started. Give me a second. Allow me to do this, and then we will deliberate here. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. So we're getting some telepathic impressions from Mr. Michael Jackson, the king. Miranda Sambora Tingara. Miro Sangia Kangambora Sangia Hanea Kingara Sambora Sani. Miro Sangere Tingara. I wanted to double check this. It's getting a lot of energy in the left hand, this part of the hand. And it turns out I just kind of looked what hand did he wear his glove on? The left hand. That's what it says. During his iconic 1983, oh my God, Motown 25 performance. Connected in, synced into the energy field, right? I want to flow with all this information. I mean, I have so many message units that I pray that I can deliver them all in a timely manner. We're synced in to the glove here. We're synced in to Band-Aid around the pinky of the right hand. Okay. Yesterday, as I explained to you guys, all the codes were coming out in a client session. Well, my healing partner actually had tape around one of her nails. I think it was her left thumb. Could be right. I don't remember. But what Michael is saying, he's pointing out the beginning of the mummification. On the Patreon, all links are down below. At least they will be. They should be. If you want to watch that video where I did a channeling of Michael Jackson where he said that they stole his image and likeness and he became mummified. Well, he brings up a very similar energy today where the bandages were part of the mummification. He didn't know. He didn't know. It's about to get big. Give me a second. It's about to get deep. I'm prone to teaching. Let me drop out of that and stay right here with this energy. Come on. We'll get to the codes in a moment. Putting this in the chat here really quickly so people can find this vibration. We'll set that up and we'll continue with the channel. But Michael Jackson is saying how the mummification begun. So whatever age he started wearing the bandages and the glove, this is when it started to begin, the mummification of his image and his likeness. Okay? That is very important. Now, give me a second. Gotta put what he's asking for. 1 second. Don't know if I can find it. That's okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Technology. Hold on. All right. There's so many codes. Remember 88. Remember 69. Remember these codes. Remember the RAM. Remember I knew. Remember the time. Remember the timeline. It's about to get deep. It's about to get deep. So many codes. So Michael Jackson states that the beginning of the mummification happened when he started wearing the gloves. Why did he start wearing the gloves? To hide the morphine. Not the morphine, the morphine. It was also a nod to some of the earlier musical giants and greats that he loved. And we were entering an era where, remember, it's the one earring, right? One glove. Thought it would be cool. Sometimes we have socks that are different colors, you know. It was all about the separation or the duality, right? So here's the thing. Michael Jackson started wearing the left glove around 1983. It says on the Motown 25. When I was preparing for this, I picked up some paperwork, and on it said Matthew 25. So I think it's interesting that we get Motown 25. And Matthew 25 is the code that I pulled. And when I looked it up, the summation of the Bible verse, Matthew 25, emphasizes the need for spiritual readiness, diligent stewardship, and active compassion for the vulnerable while awaiting Christ's return. Okay? This was a code. Michael Jackson passed away on June 25th. 23 days from now. Is it 23? No, 22, I think. 22 days from now will be when Michael Jackson passed away. He passed away on June 25th. My birthday is on June 24th. So I was always going to pick up these codes. Do you see what I mean by the source codes? Birth dates, you know, siblings' dates, death dates, dates of, you know, pinnacle seasons and times in your life. The universe is coded. You coded it. So it means, puts an emphasis on being ready, being diligent, having active compassion. See, that's different. Active compassion is inspired action. You're actively out there doing something while you are waiting for Christ's return. My hand is burning, by the way. This part of my hand is burning. He. It's burning. Hold on. He's still moving. Hold on. It's an urgency. This message comes with great urgency, sister. That's what I hear. Because the force cannot be stopped, and it shall not be stopped. When we're talking about the force, I get a figure of like an X, right? It's very interesting. I think I know what I'm getting. The force shall not be stopped. Can't be stopped, and it shall not be stopped. Shall not be stopped. Let me continue. So we get energy right away in his face, because what a lot of people don't know, so we have him, here's the thing. If this template's about to get big, stick around. We get the beginning of the insecurities of a man, right? Of a human being. someone lurking and waiting in the background to exploit the insecurities of man. Perfection of man is number 7. One less than perfection is number 6. So someone hanging around in the 6 vibration to exploit the insecurities with the skin. And then also we get with the face. Michael Jackson feels like his forever changing face was like a mustache because he always had to hide his image. Do you see what's kind of weird? They stole his image and likeness on one end, but on the other end, he had to disguise himself when he went out in public so that people would not know that it was him. So unintentionally, subconsciously, the different modifications were his mustache so that he would be able to go out in public. But he only became more famous when he made changes, like, famously to his nose, right? So he brings up all of these little tiny changes were like a cloak, right? There's some pain happening in the right foot. Not pain, but an impression, right? So we often call it pain, but the telepathic impression, could feel painful, but it's just where the message is being centered, right? And the energy from the right foot runs all the way up to this part of the brain. So the energy from the masculine right foot runs all the way up to the masculine left brain, right? And that line's important because what I'm tapping into, we're not ready yet to go here, but what I'm tapping into is the cross, and if you guys have been around for the Charlie Kirk psychic investigation, we spoke about they were mutating the cross. So I think we found out who, what vibrations. I want to show this to you guys really quickly. So if we were to tilt this cross 33 degrees to the left, we get an X. So this is the energy. This will be his right foot, right? Masculine right foot, all the way up here to the masculine left brain. That's where the energy is. So the masculine part of the cross. See, the cross represents the solar plexus. If you look at the emblem of the solar plexus, it's a man. It's kind of standing like this with its arms out, right? But it's a masculine and feminine, right? So right now, these could be interchangeable, but right now I'm pulling that this would be masculine, right? Because that's where my energy is. And then I'm pulling that this shorter one here is the feminine, right? Okay? So that's what we have so far. He brings my awareness here. Even though it is tilted here, I happen to know that when they skewed him, any manipulation that they do it 33 degrees, but to the left, right? I know I need to turn this back this way because we're dealing with Christ. So remember when I said Michael Jackson woke me up at like 5, 6 in the morning and we started the healing session, but the healing session has not been completed. We will complete that healing tomorrow. 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, he brings this up with him on the cross. Remember I said I looked down at his feet, I saw an image of him, and his feet had been mummified. I started to unwrap the tightly, tight cloth, and I realized it was, in fact, the mummification. So now Michael's bringing my awareness. We have a little bit more mummification that he would like to be removed because he's representing the collective mummification. It's the collective feet that we freed when I healed the Christ. Sorry, I'm just going to call it what it is. It's still the same energy. Okay? I'm not going to play around with it. We're going to call it what it is. It's an energy that can be embodied, and he embodied that frequency quite well because they didn't want us grounded. In fact, he brings up the awareness of Mother Earth. Why are the feet being affected? Why the feet being mummified? Because if you're grounded, connected to Mother Earth, Tiamat, then you are the controller of the ages. You get to write history. You know, history is always written by the victors. You get to be the one to write history. They don't want that because they have to be in control, so they can skew it 33 degrees to keep you enslaved into their various religions. Remember when Source said we are going to pull religion out from underneath the feet of the masses? Source has already started to do a big one. Said this last year, and we started to unravel it. So this is him on the cross. He brings that up. Okay? It's going to get big. I mean, see, we know who this is here. But who's this? Who's the feminine? Who is the feminine? Right? Oh, very interesting that I pointed to evil. So this is an old drawing, but I pulled it out. This is the frequency bandwidth, right? Good versus evil. These are the polarities. And then here in the middle is the heart where you drop into to transcend, right? Who's they always calling evil? It's always a woman that they call evil. Remember, evil is just lived experience, you know. So who is the woman? Who's the feminine energy? Well, yesterday we spoke about my client being the goddess Hathor. You know, I think that's her name. And I don't want to go through this stuff again because, to be honest with you, it's just too large to remember all of this stuff. But goddess Hathor, which was like, she welcomed you, gave you some little drinks and party supplies in the afterworld and all of that. And it was said that her and Horus, which we have channeled, Michael Jackson was, you know, incarnation of Horus, and Horus and Jesus, pretty much the same energy, right? Well, Horus, Boo Thang, was my client in a past life, Hathor, right? And they both, Horus and her, had a son that loved to dance and sing music. So we go back to, where did they get that? Where did Michael get it from? I mean, where did the son get it from? Obviously, he got it from the parents. It was in the genealogy, music, dance, and all that. So Michael, holding those codes, was always going to come in with busy feet. If you look at the Michael Jackson movie that's out, you know, in one of the scenes, Barry Gorder, it's like, Michael, you're moving your feet again. Can you sing in the studio with your feet planted down? He could not plant his feet down in this new biopic. And he kept having to do it over and over and over again. He still could not stop moving those feet. Okay? And part of the reason we know why is because the feet have been mummified. He was trying to get free. So part of the dancing, when we zone out, is him actually loosening this up for the collective, because he's holding a collective, you know, energy signature, right? So right now we'll plug in Hathor to this. We'll plug in Horus and Hathor, or Michael Jackson and his counterpart, right? I don't know who that is. But then you do see how we can just keep plugging everyone in. Masculine, feminine counterpart. Masculine, feminine counterpart. That's what this is. And when you have the masculine and the feminine, then you get 4 quadrants. You get the 4 seasons, right? You get, even this is how they built the matrix off of this. Because then you can just put time in here, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 12, and just keep it on repeat. But that's the black dot in the middle, the portal out, right? So everything was built off of the structure of you, because you are in the body of Christ, right? And you are masculine and feminine energy, okay? You have to watch the video from yesterday because I can't repeat it all. But also too, so my client emailed me. She's like, very interesting. As we spoke about Hathor and Horus, right? Counterparts. We also have to talk about Jesus and what Mary Magdalene Someone has said it in the comments yesterday. Jesus, Mary Magdalene. Did I not say this earlier this year in the 2026 channel that the Christ daughter would return? That we will get to know the Christ daughter. And now people are saying that Mary Magdalene was also a disciple. Oh, would she have been the number 13th disciple? Just asking a question. I'm just asking. I'm really going to ask that question. I'm really going to ask that question. Yeah. Gnostics believe that she was his closest disciple. But it doesn't say what number she would have been. I'm going to just plug her into 13 because the Christ is 13 and the counterparts are 1. You can't have this cross. You can't have the codes to the matrix without divine masculine and feminine. I know what you think. What the heck does this have to do with Michael Jackson? Because Michael Jackson is Jesus and is Horus. And Michael Jackson has a counterpart. Isn't it funny how we never knew Michael Jackson's counterpart? Isn't it funny how everyone said Jesus didn't have a counterpart? Why do all of these figures here, why do they leave this out? Why? Why? Human nature. Why? Why do you do me this way? It's because it's human nature. That's why they leave it out. So they can mutate it and remix it at a later date. So just like Jesus didn't have a counterpart, girl. Even though we know he did. Michael Jackson also has a counterpart. And the reason why you don't, like metaphysically, the reason why it doesn't even matter if you see the counterpart, if you don't see it, simply because they are one. A complete body. They are one. They are the cross. They are the crucifixion. Okay? So, there's so much about the feet, which I really can't really get into, but we have to cue in something. Let's put that over there. I'm setting it up, right? We got to cue something in here, right? So, the client we spoke about yesterday, which is Hathar or Mary Magdalene, right? Same energies, because the Christ and Horus is the same energy. As she is the portal. We spoke about Michael Jackson being the junction to almost show you where this is located. So Michael Jackson would be the junction. It makes sense now. Thanks, Mike. Holding energy here and holding energy here. Where did I say I felt the energy? Leg and crown. He's just holding that here so that you can see. Now, I know now this is about to get, this ain't getting sexual, baby, but I just got to say what it is. What we're really looking at is a woman stargate. I know. That's what we're looking at here. So he's holding space here. And then we have this over here. Now, if you were to expand this, right, we'd be looking at a woman's portal. And I say that, and I know that simply because in the client session yesterday, this is what she truly was representing, the divine feminine. Like we are going, I've always been talking about this. I never knew that the codes would pop up in my office, right? We always were going to get here. But the client yesterday was the portal. As he's holding space as the junction to show you point A and point B, how to get there through the Christ light, she actually is this. She's the woman portal. So if you open this up, right, this is a woman's yoni. So now we expand out of what truly has to happen, because it has to. I'm going to say what's big, and then we'll collapse it back down to the micro things that we need to talk about. In order to birth, what do you need? You have to have water. And that's why this is so important. Now, the client who is the portal, the Vijay, right? That's representing, right? Like the cosmic Vijay, right? And really, we need to be birthed into the new age, which is probably why I'm here as probably like a spiritual doula, as Mother of the Ages. Like, let's get the heck out of here and get to the new age, right? And she's like, I'm just here. I'm dilated, girl. And the Christ is like, I got the light. Come on, children, go through. It's like we're getting birthed, you know? Right? And then we all, with the telepathic impression, we got to feel all the birthing pains, right? But listen, get this. So the client yesterday, her name was Janet. Miss Jackson, if you nasty. Michael Jackson has a sister named Janet. You heard of her? You may have heard of her, a little singer called Janet Jackson. You think that's a mistake here? Think that's just an oh well situation? Nuh-uh. Nope. Well, today, a client that entered the chat who's holding more codes. See, as Janet is the JJ, the portal, the client today is the water that we need to birth with. What did I say? What do you need? You need water. When the water breaks, right? The water's in a sack, and then what happens? Pop. Now the birth can happen. But this client, she was afraid of her waters. In fact, she was a lot like Michael Jackson. See, for every sexualized song, he had to do 5 songs like that would cause humanity to hang out in their lower chakras, particularly the sacral chakra. And then he would get one, Heal the World song and all the other songs that he really loved to do. He didn't really like it because he knew, not that he didn't like those songs, but he just wanted to take humanity higher. He didn't really feel comfortable, in the sexual, centers of the body. He wanted, advancement, expansion. Well, this client's a lot of this, she's very similar. It's almost like had to reacquaint her with her waters. And the waters are just sensuality, not sexuality. It's the flowing, loving, nurturing energy of the cosmic sphere. If you were to be floating around in the cosmos, that's what it feels like. It feels sensual, peaceful, at ease, flow. That's the natural state. But they had to hijack that. And then they turned it around. They made it naughty. And then they demonized every woman that naturally exuded it. But what they're really, really, really going after, it's water. Because water has always been the technology that births. The technology that builds, the technology that sustains. We can think about the pyramids for all of this. The technology that learns is the original AI. It learns. Message. The technology that expands. The technology that can divide land masses and create new geographical locations through floods, tsunamis, etc., hurricanes. Water has always been the technology. So now when we look at this again, we understand why the masculine is the structure, because the feminine is the technology. The masculine may be the body of it, may be the hardware like the computer, but the feminine is the software. It's everything that is encoded to make the applications run effectively. Pull up this website, this app, this app. It's the code running in the background. We can equate that water and the code running in the background to mama's source. And father's source is the structure that just holds space, and mother's waters is what flows through your body. Okay? We're building. Stick around. There's a lot of codes here. You don't want to miss this one. Like this video, subscribe to this vibration. Listen, I wasn't going to go here, but I opened to a random page. I have to read the poem to you. You may have heard it, but it's relevant. It's about the waters. And then we need to go back to something on page probably 33 in this book. You can pick it up on Amazon, The Great Expansion, A Cosmic Bible for the Ages. Here's the poem about water, page 54. 5 plus 4 is 9. We're in a 9 season. We have to birth. We're at 9 months. Get it? Got it. Thank you. Energies are here. It's called The Great Deep Wide. I am the lush waves of the great brave ocean. I am the elements within the molecules of the great wide. I am the velvety fibers of the deep wet. I am the great deep wide. Almost sounds like a woman's portal, too, when you listen to that. I am the great deep wide. It's a double entendre. I can suffocate the weak, but challenge the brave with a single wave of expression. I can bring forth life when instructed. Source codes. I can swallow you whole when I am in rage. The great swallow. I am to be respected, revered, but most of all loved. I am the great deep wide. Mother God of the living waters. I got chills all over. This is who's coming. It's bigger than Christ. It's feminine in nature. The water can consume and swallow everything. What will Father God use for the great swallow, you may ask? Water. I know. God promised never to flood the earth again. Yeah, I get that. But maybe we're not talking about actual water. Maybe we're talking about consciousness. So the client today, name is Randy. Well, you know, Michael Jackson got a brother named Randy. Can't make it up. So we got the client I spoke about yesterday, named being Janet. Michael Jackson has a sister named Janet Jackson. We got the client that is the water when the water breaks, you know, then that's her waters that comes out to actually birth us into the new age. Well, her name is Randy. Michael Jackson got a brother named Randy. What do we have here? Masculine and feminine energy. Janet Jackson, Randy Jackson. I know. Mike's not here, therefore his counterpart's not here. There will always be someone holding this vibration. Who is Janet Jackson's manager? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But it says on Google, Janet Jackson's career and business affairs are predominantly managed by her older brother, Randy Jackson. Okay? So we look at Janet being the portal, right? And we look at Randy, so she's the womb. We look at Randy being the water. And when the children are ready, and as Matthew 25 says, that you should be expecting the return of Christ. You should be expecting the waters. So Janet is the portal. And my client Randy is the waters. Sister Sonia was Noah's wife in a past life. She remembers the flood. Okay? The elites are trying to cause a flood. She remembers the flood because the flood was not truly actual water. But what it was that Noah was treating his other wives better because they could bear children. She couldn't. She was barren. She could not birth using water, right? If you're barren, you're not birthing. You're not using water. But all feminine is made of water. So she couldn't do that. So she got very furious. And her fury is what created the flood. It was her emotions that made the flood. Noah, in that lifetime, became impotent. He couldn't have children anymore. Maybe you would have to take two of every kind, both male and female, to maybe preserve something like this. Randy Jackson, not the guy from American Idol. That is a different Randy. Lovely guy, by the way, but not the same people. Getting me off my channel. I don't like that. So, it was the emotions that caused the flood. What do they always say? Ain't no, nothing as big as a woman scorn, right? It's because her emotions. Well, the client very interesting, that I work with today, this is how divine this all is. Oh yeah, we're still talking about Michael Jackson. It's about to get big. Wait for the feet, wait for the mummification. Just wait. Just wait for it all. Wait for the other gods to come in. Well, the client, hold on 1 second. Lord, there's a lot going on. Don't get me off my channel. Okay, I don't want to mention that yet. We got Randy Jackson. So we got Randy and we got Janet. We got masculine and feminine, right? Lord Jesus. Hold on. So the fury. See, they don't, every time I start talking about Noah, why they don't want me to go there. Noah, 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 Noah. What the timeline of Noah is actually the timeline where the divine feminine comes back. Thank you. Thank you. They don't want me to say that. They don't want you to know that. The timeline of Noah is where we get the potency of the great deep wide returns. And she tells you, first she tells you who I am. But baby, then she tells you who she can be. I can suffocate the weak, but challenge the brave with a simple wave of expression. Wave of expression, right? A wave and a wave. These are bars. It's telling you it's water. It's going to suffocate you in water. But if you are brave, she'll challenge you with a wave, like surfers. Message, pick it up. Put it in your tea, sip it up. That's how you save yourself when this comes. You got to ride the wave. What I say, we got to drop in the flow. We got to drop into feminine flow and leave their world behind. See, I knew there was codes up in here. I can bring forth life when instructed. What did I just say? That my client Janet, aka now we got Janet Jackson. Janet had a baby at 50. Baby. Michael Jackson passed away at 50. 50-50. 50-50. Masculine and feminine. Makes 100. It makes 10. And then 1 + 0 is 1. Yet again, the rebirth. You're in a rebirth. That's what's happening. Do not worry about what we see out there, the Epstein, that foolishness. All we need to do is keep watching what happens with the water. Get ready to birth and be birthed out. So he's saying, I can bring forth life, Janet Jackson had that baby at 50, right? Look at the way Michael Jackson had his children, artificial insemination, And, what's very interesting about Michael Jackson, when I did the channeling with the Christ 4 years ago or so, he said he was the surrogate father of humanity. Not the actual father, that's Satan. But he was here to surrogate us, to show us the way. So it's very interesting that Michael Jackson uses a surrogate. Right? It's something very normal for this soul archetype, to be able to love children no matter in what capacity that he has them. He'll still love them. So he said, look, I can bring forth life. So we got, both of my clients representing that. Janet representing the woman portal, and then Randy representing the water needed to birth. And Randy also, this is what I was going to go into. Very interesting. She's had a few sessions. And I said, Randy, what's very interesting? This is our 3rd session together, and it's almost as if you're in the Ascension program. Because, the Ascension program is like where we do 6 sessions together, and week 3, this is her 3rd session, is when we heal the emotional body. So even though she had never signed up for the Ascension program, she was still receiving the level of healing as if she was there, because she showed up 3 weeks consistently. So naturally, Source just put her there. And then we healed her emotional body. Well, the interesting part about that is those waters, that the way Michael Jackson felt about making music from his lower chakras, he didn't like it. Not because he wasn't like a sexual being or anything. He didn't like it. He did not feel the best about it. She, when she has to go against her integrity, when she has to compromise her integrity, she feels pain down there in the sacral, in the gut. She doesn't like it because it doesn't feel pure to her, because we were also channeling, that these are part of her codes, purity, right? And there is a deity that she's also connected to. It's so much I can't even bring it up right now. I'll look through these notes in a minute. Um, in a minute, in a minute. I don't know why Eminem is coming in here, girl. Somebody got codes about Eminem. Somehow he coming in here, but don't get me off my channel, Eminem. But so, oh, I think that's Michael. When Michael, doesn't give me no headache now. When Eminem was making all those jokes in that video about him, Eminem did the parody and he was dressed up like Michael Jackson with the glove and his hair was on fire and all of that. That really hurt Michael. Michael mentioned that before. He's bringing that up again. That really hurt him because it was almost as if this is how the collective viewed him. And he didn't like that because he was really here for light, but the world just couldn't accept it because every time Jesus comes back, what happens? They kill him. That's what happens. Same thing. So now, going back to my client B in the water, her and Michael Jackson, the same energy, the same vibration. They don't like being in those chakras. They don't like compromising their integrity. And so we had her move those waters, the gold. She had golden energy, right? Michael Jackson always wears gold as well. We could also think about him as a golden child. We could also think about him as the golden era, the golden age. She had golden energy there. I had her move up the waters through her emotional body. She didn't sign up for the Ascension program yet. We're still working on emotional body. When Sister Sonia was Noah's wife and she couldn't have children and he started treating her any type of way, then she dropped in through her emotions and she caused a flood so deep that it made Noah impotent. Noah couldn't have no more kids. So I'm almost wondering, some of my biblical scholars up in here, what happened? He couldn't have no more kids. Who's the children after Noah? Seriously, I'm asking that question very, very seriously. Can't do it in this video. Someone clock that one. Who are the children after Noah? Because she made him impotent. So, because it was emotions. We're looking at a woman's water. That is what the time, remember the timeline. Because this is why you have to get out of duality. Because when the feminine waters come in, it's going to flush a lot of things, but it's dualistic. I can bring forth life when instructed. I can birth. But I can also swallow you whole when I'm in rage. It's duality. You got to get the heck out of Dodge right now. The Christ is returning. Remember I spoke about Father God bringing the great swallow, reconsuming everything. It's going to happen through water, through emotions. In emotions, emotions is innately feminine, but the water is also divine consciousness. If you have a flood in consciousness and we all awaken, then what happens to the old world? World gets destroyed, right? The old world gets destroyed. So what should you do with the waters? Respect them, revere them, and love them. What should you do with women? Respect them, revere them, and love them. If any of the men that have been operating outside of this code, this law, then you better get your surfboard. And I hope you can swim. Women too. If you're putting down your own internal waters, If you've not made peace with that, get your surfboard. I hope you can swim. Okay? Now, I'm not even about to go into that because that part's going to get really deep. So, these are some new codes, right? But now it gets even deeper. I know. How much more deep can it get, girl? You just keep going. Keep getting deep. That's what I know. So, I got to bring something up here. There's a lot of information to pull through here. Goodness. A lot. So in the session today, my client starts talking about her late friend's son that she tried to help. That his name was Zach, right? And that, you know, she tried to help him, but he's not doing the right things. He can't put boots on the ground. He can't put boots on the ground. She kept saying he can't put boots on the ground. Isn't it very interesting? We got that old Negro spiritual. I got my boots on the ground. Where them fans at? And why do I happen to have this sitting next to me? If anybody knows, there is a song, you know, out, and it's called Boots on the Ground. And I happen to have the fan that you do the dance with sitting on my desk. What is the coincidence? She kept saying Zach could not put boots on the ground. He could not just do right. Every time she goes in to try to help him, she has to compromise herself, her waters. She doesn't like doing that because they truly are pure. Like Michael Jackson, pure. She's just pure. She's purity, you know, Randy. My name means purity, by the way. I'm a water sign. I'm in the water energy. I think a lot of water people, are holding the codes of purity. So she just kept saying that. So we have that song, Boots on the Ground, which is like a celebratory sort of song. And then she starts to mention someone called Shoeless Joe Jackson. I know, y'all, you would think this is fake, but it's all real. You can't even make it up if you wanted to. This is the most elaborate story ever told, girl. So she starts to talk about Shoeless, and I'm going to bring it up, Joe Jackson, because she's like, she didn't like the way that Joe Jackson, you know, treated them. And then she talks about Shoeless Joe Jackson. And first, I didn't know what it was, but apparently he's like a baseball player, professional baseball outfitter, who played Major League Baseball in the early 20th century. So he was born July 16th. And his name is Joseph, just like Joe Jackson. Joseph. We got Joseph also from the Bible. Is this not Jesus' father? I know they said he didn't have a father, but wasn't he connected in with Mary, right? We also have Joseph. Joseph was the 11th son of the patriarch Jacob. That's why I said Jacob. And the first son of Jacob's beloved wife, Rachel, known for his prophetic dreams. He is a central figure in the final chapters of the book of Genesis. Let us make man in our own image after our likeness. Lord, we're going to be here all night. It's like a 5-hour session. There's so many codes. Jacob loved Joseph more than his other sons and gave him an ornate, colorful coat. This favoritism and 2 dreams indicating that Joseph would one day rule over his family made his brothers deeply jealous. So I remember this story. He was sold into slavery, girl, driven by resentment. Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery, sold him to a traveling merchant. And he was brought to Egypt as a slave. Through faith and his ability to interpret dreams, Joseph went from being a slave to being unjustly imprisoned and eventually to becoming the vizier of Egypt. I think he was like a second in command only to the Pharaoh. Doesn't it sound a lot like Joe Jackson coming from poverty? Like, I don't know the, situation about the brothers being jealous or whatnot, but I mean, I'm just trying to say, why is now Joe Jackson, the client is also mentioning shoeless Joe Jackson, the baseball player. Her name is Randy. So we got Joseph Jackson, we got Michael Jackson, we got Janet Jackson, we got Randy Jackson. What is going on? And my mother's last name is Jackson. What is going on? What is going on, guys? I can't even, there needs to be a part 2 and 3. Because, and then we get Jackson being the son of Jack. Baby. Now it's about to get big. Because hold on. During the session today with Randy, someone came in. I saw them. I didn't say anything because they weren't doing anything. They were just kind of there. They appeared like right here on this side. They were just kind of hanging out. I saw them. I saw them. Hold on. Who was this person? I just said Jack, right? The person that I saw in the session today, was Anubis. Anubis, ancient Egyptian god of guess what? Mummification. That's who showed up. Did we not start this video talking about taking the mummy wrappings off of Michael Jackson's feet? And that when he wore the tape and the glove, it was the beginning of the mummification. Well, did we not just get him off of the cross? Because he's also the Christ as well. It's a template that we're in. And guess who shows up today? Because this client is getting her power back. We've already got the other client in position. She's Hathor, who actually gives them little snacks in a goodie bag when they go to the afterlife. And then we got Anubis, who, in ancient Egypt, god of mummification, the afterlife and the protector of graves. So he's also in the vibration of Hathor, kind of working with afterlife, right? But he came in because this client was getting her power back. See, you know what this client's about to do? She was getting ready to move them waters, baby, through that emotional body. What happened the last time those waters moved through the emotional body? Through Noah's wife, aka Sister Sonia. Oh, it caused the flood. Now, you know the flood is symbolic, right? 2 things can be true at the same time. We could have an actual flood, or I think it was more so a reset. And we could also have a woman scorn that a woman scorn can do anything. What we're looking at is the power of water, the technology of water, feminine waters. But there's always a counterpart. So now it not becomes so much of like the man truly being the main, the main thing. It becomes of like, baby, what is this that's coming? See, there's a woman coming on the world stage. We will get to know her. I called this last year, the Christ daughter. We're going to get to know a divine Christ-like figure that is a woman. We're going to get to know that. But here, check this out. Listen, hold on. This is about to get deep. Now, this part, baby, it's a lot like the synchronicities with the Janet, with the Randy, with the Joe Jackson, with all of that. And I'm sure I got to even go back to the other Joe, and because it's just a lot. I just can't even put all of this together. I'll be here forever. So we'll ground back into the Joseph bit, because that's been on my mind for 2 weeks. But I want to tell you about Anubis. He came in, and I saw him right when she was getting her flow back. See, Stella was getting her groove back. She got her flow back, right? And guess what? So her late friend's son name was Zach, right? Then I happened to look up really quickly Jackson. What does Jackson mean? It means the son of Jack. Well, if you know anything about Anubis is depicted as the god that has a jackal head, like a dog head, like the dog, the jackal. I don't think we're putting this together. Anubis came in. I saw him in the session. Right when she was getting access back to her waters, moving them through the emotional body, I saw Anubis. And remember, he's a god of mummification. And now, hold on. When I look up Jackson, it means son of Jack. Anubis is the jackal head god. But not only that, we're going to get back to that. But here's the thing. Going back to her late friend's son being Zach. Well, guess what? The other client that we spoke of, her last name is also Zach. It's a variation of Zach. I'm not going to give you the whole name. It's a variation of Zach. So why is it that the first client has literally Janet, Jackson meaning Jack, Anubis showed up, which is the head of a jackal, and the first client I spoke about, Janet, her last name has a variation of Zach in it. The client today, Randy, there's also Randy Jackson, which is still Jackson, the son of Jack, son of Anubis. Who is the son of Anubis? Who is? I'm asking the question. Who's the son of Anubis? And somehow, some way, her late friend, son that she's been trying to help, but he's been going astray. He has been swimming against the waters. His name is Zach. But it gets deeper. It gets deeper. That's not all, folks. Then we think about Zachariah. See, Zachariah is the biblical form of the name, and there's different variations. I'm here to tell you that all three of them are holding the variations of Zachariah. So now I need to know about the story of Zachariah. This is a lot. We got to stop really fast and really make us understand what we're going to be working on here. If you look at Zachariah, girl, it's given, it almost looks like my name, like the last like 5 letters or even 6. So we need to know the story of Zachariah. This is why you can't get away from the Bible. You can't throw it out just because you're on your spiritual journey, because it's code. And when you become enlightened, when you have the flood of consciousness, you're going to need these codes. You can't throw it out. Can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, what they always say. So get this. We got all the variations of Zachariah within both clients. And both clients are connected to Michael Jackson's siblings. Okay, hold on. So many codes, so little time, so many codes. You're doing great. Tia, I got to write, you're doing great. Okay, so now 2 clients. There's a Zach over here. There's a, another form of Zach. And then we got Zachariah. I literally talked to my sister right after the session. And she's like, her grandson, which his name is Zachariah. Get this? So he tested into all like very, very high, very high classes, but he refused to do any work. So the teacher called and said, look, he has straight F's. He tested to get into these classes. You had to pass a test. But when he went into the class, he just said, I'm not doing it. He said, it's boring. Like I'm bored, So then his name is Zachariah. So what is happening with all of the Zachs? So we got Joseph. We got Zachariah. Michael's the key name. I still got to go back to Anubis, and I still got to go back to Shoeless Joe Jackson. Now, it's funny that she said Shoeless Joe Jackson, because remember, we removed the mummification off of the feet of Michael Jackson. Not only that, my other client was like, who was the woman who washed Christ's feet? Was it Mary? Who was the woman who washed Christ's feet, Jesus' feet? Mary of Bethany. Then look, get this. We got Mary, and then we got, this story is in John 12. Well, it's very interesting. I had a past life as Mary, I told you guys but the other day. And then a friend of mine had a past life as John. And in that past life, John was my healer. And now I'm getting John the Baptist. John the Baptist is the one that baptizes. Because you're about to be rebirth, reborn, a rebirth, a ending that leads to a new beginning. Was it Mary Magdalene? Some people say it was Mary Magdalene who washed the feet. So I'm just reading here off of Google. It could be Mary Magdalene, but okay, I guess they're talking about the same person. They just don't use the last name here. Oh, Jesus washes the disciples' feet during the Last Supper. Recorded in John 13. Lord Jesus, it's too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy. Jesus is number 13. I literally, actually, y'all, now this is freaky. No, Lord Jesus, say it ain't so. How you know I'm black now? We don't like all this. Now this is getting too, now this get too freaky now. Come on. Listen, guys. Wait a minute. Hold on. Jesus washes the disciples' feet during the Last Supper, recorded in John 13, 1, 17. Jesus humbled himself to wash his followers' feet. He did this to demonstrate a servant leadership and commanded them to do the same for one another. Going back to the very first thing, scripture that we pulled from Matthew 25, when I found the paperwork and I popped that into a scripture. It was talking about showing compassion to the vulnerable, active compassion in preparation for the arrival of the Christ. I got that in, was it Matthew 25? And Michael Jackson passed away on the 25th, 25 of this month. We mentioned 6, being one shy of perfection in the beginning. Now the 6th vibration is coming back around. 625. See, this is a day of resurrection I'm getting. The 625 is a resurrection. How long has it been since Michael Jackson passed away? How many years has it been? "17 years. "17 years. Here's the thing. Michael Jackson passed away when we literally were about to go into a collective consciousness. He passed away, that's what, 9 plus 2 is 11. That's a master key, 11. Shortly after that, people started waking up. Was it not Sydney that mentioned the 2009 timeline? Was it not Keisha who said it? Her father passed away in 2009. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm remembering this right or if I'm thinking slow, girl. But now we're getting, remember the time. See, this was going to be the clear ending of the ignorance of us not understanding the waters. And then the moment we got into the new vibration, right? This master key, this master 11, we had an outpouring of the water. When you enter into the new age, what's the age where the water pours out? Yeah, this is Aquarius, baby. Aquarius, the 11th sign in the zodiac. 11 is known as the water bearer, bringing the water. What do they wash the feet with? Water. When you wash the feet, you're now clean. You are now able to be reconnected back into your divinity, put back into place. Back here. Back as a sovereign soul, bringing and bridging together you and your counterpart. We got John the Baptist energy. We got the age of Aquarius we're going into. The waters are being poured out. The consciousness is being poured out onto the feet of the masses, and it's getting them free from their captivity. Remember Joseph being enslaved in Egypt and sold, but later becoming second in command next to the Pharaoh, only next to the Pharaoh. And you think that you're small. When this entire Michael Jackson escapade, Janet, Miss Jackson if you're nasty, this whole thing is about you. Beautiful you. Lovely you. Dynamic you. Like the video, subscribe. This whole thing is about you. And greater things shall you do. The old age was about the inner God. No, the outer God. I'm so sorry. The outer God. Bringing all your energy into the storehouse. So there's food, right? And now this new age is all about the internal God, because it's about the water. The feminine God is the waters. And we will get to know her. And we will get to know the figure that represents her. And so a lot more of these gods and deities in the water vibration some of their writings and teachings will start to be uncovered. I got a feeling some of my work is in this. Because I remember writing part of the Gnostics text, the Nag Hammadi text. I remember writing some of those. I remember reading some of that and saying, I remember writing this. I wrote this. Some of you guys, some of your old codes and writings and artifacts will be discovered, because this is a story about you. You. Soldier boy, I tell you. Oh, okay. So. But listen. Now, this is where I got to tell you this, because this is freaky. I had to get away from this for a moment, because, you know. Listen. So, they said that Jesus washes the disciples' feet during the Last Supper. Recorded in John 13. I always say Jesus had 12 disciples. He made number 13. 13 is the way out of the matrix. I always say this quadrant here creates the clock. If you were to put a circle around it, right? And then you were to put numbers 1 through 12. And then this will be a clock, 12 numbers. Have a day, the Christ during the day. And at night, midnight, you have the devil at night. And boom, Christ is holding it all together. So the Christ, as it talks about in the Cosmic Bible, Great Expansion, the Cosmic Bible for the Ages, pick it up on Amazon, girl. It has a whole chapter talking about the father of duality. Get to know this. Now I can teach. Now I can teach from this book. See, I didn't feel that you guys were ready to hear the truth. But now that we've uncoded this, baby, let me not speak too soon, baby, and cut off this cosmic ministry, because I think most people would be afraid to understand the father of duality. Because to love one, in order for the summation, for the completeness of it all, you'd have to love the other too. Other side of the coin, Satan. These are energies. Talking about you have to understand why good and evil is necessary for you. It's the only way to show you yourself. It's the only way for you to have a mirror. Mirrors are technology. Mirror is a manifestation tool. Cheat code to the universe. Mirror is an apparatus of teleportation. It's the only way to show you you. You can't show you just the patriarchy, just everything being male, man. Does it sound like male, man? Don't let them put you down because you're a white male man who's. Oh, I get it. Tell me who said that, girl. That was Erica Kirk. She said a white male man. What? So, that was weird. But anywho, I'm just saying you got to have both, right? But no, this is what I'm getting at. This is freaky. And I'm going to say this and I'm getting into the chat. Jesus washed the feet of the disciples, right? During the Last Supper. Recorded in John 13th, right? Get this. Get this! When we buried our father. When we buried our father, you know, the cemetery has street names. The street name that he's buried on is Last Supper. Barasumbura sumbura sumburu sungara sandeta. Yambura sande. Can't make it up. How you make that one up? The street he was buried on is called Last Supper. Wow, thank you so much for the super chat, Jazzy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love, much love, much love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. These are the source codes. And now you guys have to understand, like, I live this stuff. This stuff, it's all being filtered through this. Because crazy enough, I signed up for this. I'm like, I'll take the source codes. I don't know why I said that. I have no idea why I said that. That's why I got to get other people trained. I want to rest. I don't want all the source codes. It is fun, though. It's fun. It is fun. But, you know, some people, they don't understand it. But these are the source codes. That's what I'm talking about. Right? And once you're activated, I'm an activator in my soul contract. Once you're activated, then you'll get all the source codes as well. Because you've already set it up in your soul contract to be activated. Because you're also part of the source codes. You know what I mean? It's not just me. It's all of us. It's just that some people have not stepped into it yet. But you guys will. You guys will. There's also will coming up. Will. This is crazy. Something about a will, girl. You know, now Sydney and Austin. I was in the client session. You guys were talking about somebody on this chat is holding up our wealth transfer. Ooh, girl. I just saw a feather fall from the sky. Light as a feather. Somebody holding up our wealth transfer. You know who you are. You know who you are. I just saw a will. We're going to get a divine inheritance. A divine inheritance. You are. You are. I'm just being called to leave it like that and just tell you that you are. I see all the codes you guys are putting in the chat. Miss Natalie, I see Sydney's codes about the number 17. Because we're going to do, you guys bring these codes tomorrow. Because we're gonna pick up on this message. And baby, I'm tired of channeling. I probably just let y'all have at it. Because this is a lot. It's a lot of energy. Jacob lived his final 17 years in Egypt. Oh, Lord, say it ain't so. And what were we saying? That we were always pulling up the biblical template when we were in the Charlie Kirk investigation. It had nothing to do about Charlie and all of this. It was all about the two fighting in the womb. Because there's about to be a rebirth. There's about to be a birth. So, yeah, isn't that crazy? My father was buried on the Last Supper. She said, oh no. Yep. Yes, girl. Gives our wealth transfer. We got a divine will. Girl, we got the right for our cash. Jacob, the children of Israel, girl, we gonna get them reparations, whether it's physical or spiritual. Woo. There's a lot more codes, you guys, but I'm gonna drop that right there. But wait, I got a confirmation from Michael Jackson, girl. Michael, we like this. But really, tomorrow we got to make sure. Jacksons, are y'all on the up and up? Because we got Anubis coming out here. The mummification god. And who the children of Anubis? These are questions. We got questions tomorrow. Where we're going to dive deeper into all of this stuff. And the biblical codes as well. Zachariah, why you got all F's? I'm going to have to come over there with my belt. Joe Jackson style. I'm joking. Why do you have all F's? You didn't test it with high scores to get in the class, and then you decided that, I just don't feel like it. It's too beneath me to pick up my pencil. Really? Really? What's going on? And then why are all these Zachs popping up? Why is all these Zachariah, variations of Zachariah? I know why, because you can't have a variation of Zachariah in this final hour. In the new season, you got to be standing firmly all the way encoded with the Zachariah energy. So who is Zachariah? These are the questions that we have, These are the questions that we have for tomorrow, right? Whew, Lord, I hope y'all remember this because I ain't going to remember any of this. I'm not. I'm just letting you know already. So I had to pull through. But Michael Jackson did send me a message to let me know that I think the work is done. Listen, it's crazy. It's about to get deep here. I'm going to leave it on Michael Jackson's message he sent me right before I came up in here. Okay? Come on, Michael. That's what he said now. That's what he say. Mama say, Mama sa, humakasa. Mama say, Mama sa, humakasa. That's what he say now. Michael, what you say? Baby. That remind me of Catherine with that cane all the time. Listen, guys. I'm going to give you the message Austin sent to me in our apprentice chat. Remember I said how God will face his shadow come July? Right? See, Michael Jackson clearly stated right then, and even though this is an old video, he broke his foot a long time ago, girl. 2 places. Remember I was getting that energy on the right foot? All the way up this side of the X. Girl, I got an X in my name, in my last name. The X is also for the feminine, the X chromosome. We're getting rid of the mutation because remember, Adam is a mutation. Got to call it what it is. It's a mutation. We're supposed to be whole. We're supposed to be one. Check it. He said, look, 6 more weeks until our moon walk across the sky. code. We're looking at astrology. We're not looking at literal this and that. Two things can be true at the same time. But I think it's the latter. Listen, he said it's going to be 6 more weeks, baby. Groundhog's Day. Oh, 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 got my boots on the ground. Where them fans at? I never got this part down. Yes, yes. Hit it. Get it. Yeah. Oh, my cousin's going to be so happy. Took them forever to teach me that dance. But see, listen. What sees his shadow after 6 weeks? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yo, come on, sister. But every time I did it, said, that's not it. He got the right potion. Baby, rub it down and make it smooth like lotion. Okay, sorry. Listen. Groundhog sees its shadow on Groundhog's Day and retreats into its burrow, which predicts 6 more weeks of winter. He was dropping a code from the future right then, and we picked it up. We picked up the source codes. He said, baby, it's going to be 6 more weeks to our moonwalk across the sky. God will face his shadow come July. Baby, that was the message. So now, Austin says, you said God will face his shadow come July, right? Guess what astrological events happened in July? This is exactly the very thing. On July 20th, Jupiter and Pluto are in opposition. They will face each other. They mirror each other. Jupiter is Zeus, father of gods. Pluto is Hades, god of the underworld. What showed up today, Anubis, deals with the afterlife and the mummification. So when I was saying God will face his shadow come July 20th is about 6 more weeks, baby. He just told you. I done broke this here foot right here in 2 places. Why you break it in 2, Mike? Tell him, baby. Tell him, Mike. Look. I don't know. I got masculine energy out. Why, Mike, why you didn't broke this foot in 2 places? Why, Mike? Hold on, Mike. It's because Groundhog's Day falls on the 2nd month. February 2nd, to be exact. 2-2. Did we not pull the number 2-2 in another code earlier? I'm just saying. There's no way I could put this together. Little old me. I can barely pronounce my words right, girl. Tie my shoe. True. It's true. There's a story behind. My sister taught me how to tie my shoe, but when she was born, her hand got not disconnected, but twisted in my mom's rib. So she never had full usage of her, I think it was her left hand. So she taught me how to tie my shoe. So my shoe always comes unloose. Somehow hers doesn't, but mine always does. That's why I got to double tie it. But that's because I don't tie in a traditional way, because she's the one who taught me how to do it with one hand, right? So I don't know why that story is important, but girl, because it might be important. The left hand. My sister's part of the dango codes, girl. She part of the codes. She code. She a Jackson. She couldn't use her left hand. Michael Jackson had the glove on the left hand because that's when they started the mummification. He was just trying to cover up the vitiligo. However, they spotted that. They saw that. They took advantage of that. They probed into that insecurity. So now, 6 weeks, baby. Pluto and Jupiter is going to square off. And we already spoke about Jupiter. We spoke about, is it Jupiter rising or whatever? We spoke about that. I'm getting some major energy in the heart, baby. Something about to pop. So, Michael said it, baby. 6 more weeks until I moonwalk across this sky. 6 more weeks until God faces his shadow. Groundhog's Day, which is in the 2nd month. Michael said he broke his foot in 2 places. I'm wondering, so what happens on Groundhog's Day? If he sees his shadow, if a groundhog sees its shadow on Groundhog's Day, okay, February 2nd, it retreats into its burrow, which predicts 6 more weeks of winter. Winter is a demonic entity, remember? Winter's not natural. Winter is to stunt the growth. So if we get 6 more winter, I'm getting some sort of crash. Something like that. Market crash. But it's all to crash water. It's water. That's the crash. It's not a crash. It's all like the waves crashing on the rocks. Maritime Admiralty law. It's all just to squeeze whatever bit of whatever nonsense they got left in the system. Girl, the system's gone. It's dead. It's gone. Let it go. We figured out all the codes. It's over. Okay? Oh, Lord. That's it. And my father passed away on the 22nd, by the way. I'm just saying, he was holding major codes. That's why I keep telling you guys, and this source was very clear. The people that are passing away right now, yes, they're not here, but they just relocated because they're part of the source codes. And they're getting into position so that they can do their work where they need to be, placed. That's it, guys. Just girl! Gail's birthday is February the 2nd. She got the codes, baby. She got the codes. Oh, my goodness. Yep. Someone said they can't hear? You can't hear? I don't know, girl. I think I can hear. All right, guys. I'm trying to get into the chat. I didn't even get into Anu and all the other gods. I hadn't even, it's just too much. You just can't do it all. You can't. So I'll save this for tomorrow. But it's about to get big because I presume that it's Yahweh that's fighting, that it's some of those other gods I mentioned, Anu and Amun-Ra, which I hold codes into Amun-Ra. So I don't know, girl. Am I the villain or am I the good person? All I know is that I'm here to help us get to the new age where the water pours out, the consciousness we make it rain, baby. We make it rain on them hoes. We make it rain, consciousness down to the earth children. Humanity. Where them fans at? Shoeless Joe Jackson. Sexual chocolate. Okay, I'm tired. I'm done. I'm done, guys. Sorry. Where them fans at? I got my boots on the ground. Where them fans at? There's so much. Tiamat. Natalie talks about Tiamat. Water. Yes. Salt water. Oh, yes. Oh, baby. Yes. Yes. Okay. Sorry, guys. Y'all see, I'm wilding out. I get tired and I don't know. To get away from the source codes, I got to go do something silly, like just watch something silly, listen to some fun music or something, because otherwise, girl, the source codes, they have you feel feeling like you're on a ride there. You know, you just gotta unload yourself, right? So here's what I'm gonna say to end this is that tomorrow I got the list here, and we got to get into all of those other things that we posed those questions, and then we got to look into Yahweh. I knew, you know, this brings in I knew that's the Anunnaki essentially, Anunnaki, you know, and then Amun-Ra as well. So these are the codes that we need to get questions to. What I didn't realize is, if girl, I already know what Source is doing, and I already know. I'm not even gonna say it, but Austin says 6 weeks is July 15th. And you know how those energies be starting, like, you know, days before, or even like a week before or so, and weeks after. Yeah, so we're gonna be right into the thick of things. But we need to be early because we got the codes. We got to set up. We got to figure out what's about to happen. We got to help humanity do it. I think we're about to have a birth. But here's the thing. If we get 6 more weeks of winter, maybe this girl, I think, is Source about to give us a insider trading? That's all I'm going to say. Source, you giving us insider trading? Are you trying to tell us what's going to happen so we can go ahead and stock up? I think so. I'm getting the vibe that Source is giving us insider trading, girl. To ask me where I got it from, I got it from Source. And they say, I think you insider trading. I said, Source said 6 more weeks of winter. I'm just saying. I'm getting a strong that. The Source is like, it's like an alley-oop. It's like passing the ball. You right there. All you got to do is just do a layover. Like, literally. I think things are going to go way down. We're going to be able to buy it. We're going to get 6 more weeks of winter for the people who were not able to purchase, so they can be part of the wealth transfer. That's what I'm getting. But we'll see. We'll keep building on that. I love you guys so very much. I will go through the chat on the replay, and then I will address all of this tomorrow. Thank you, Karen. Hi, Karen. Da Vinci painted the Last Supper with Mary Magdalene. Shut your mouth. You putting them codes together. On his right side, but it was supposed to be John, the beloved, and Peter was jealous of Mary. Oh, Lord. And Da Vinci painted the picture with Peter with his hand. Oh, my God. Wow. Peter told the disciples there's no way that Jesus would talk to Mary first after his resurrection. And Jesus says, I will make Mary into a man, so she is worthy. Wow. Wow. Yowzas. I'm going to snapshot that and look at that tomorrow during the live. Oh, Lord. Oh, that was you, Keisha? Talk about what, Randy? Yeah, I know you joking, because you know that Randy Jackson ain't her brother. That ain't her brother. All right, I'm just looking at chat. Slim Shady, please stand up. He's still mad. He's still salty about that. I feel bad for Eminem. Michael still ain't forgiving you for that. My question is, who is Eminem? We need to look into his codes and why Michael won't forgive him. Baby, are you Judas? Eminem, are you Judas? So, okay. I'm just reading through here really quickly. Joseph and his magic dream coat family tree. Yep. Resurrection of the Christ consciousness. There it is, Sydney. There it is. You think you know who the Christ daughter is? The bride of Christ. Who was Anubis son of? The most common answer is Father Osiris. Raised by Isis. There we go. Thank you, Jazzy, for the code. Thank you. Thank you for the code. We needed that. Wow. Ooh, Lord, I got to put all this in a spreadsheet. It's too much for TV. Whew. Father Osiris, Mother Nephthys, raised by Isis. And John the Baptist baptized Jesus. So when the outpouring, so John the Baptist gave Jesus some of the conscious codes. It's like two brothers standing on the corner. Brother, let me put you up on some game. If you're going to be on this block, if you're going to be on this light worker block, let me put you up on some game. You know, there's a little someone named Judas. You got to watch out because he is a timeline thief. I had a run-in with him the last lifetime, and it didn't turn out so good. Watch your back, brother. That's what it's given. It could have been Soulless Joe Jackson. There we go. That's Soulless Joe Jackson. Girl, you got some, Karen, baby, you got some codes. Karen was in a session today. You got some codes. Soulless Joe Jackson. Listen. There you go. That's a code. Message. Pick it up. Put it in your tea. Sip it up. That resonates so much with me. And maybe that's why he was mean like that. Because if you think about Jackal, Anubis, do you know that I snapped a snap picture of the session today, and Anubis showed up. He's in the picture. I won't even show you the picture. I have the picture. He's there. You can clearly see him. He's like literally like right here. He's there. I had to cleanse my space, girl. I spent a few hours. Anubis, I can't help you. It's not my fault. These are the source codes. I can't help you. And that's why shoeless Joe Jackson didn't have no shoes on, because he didn't have the. Where's his soul? Does Anubis have his soul? Because they're all Jackson. Oh no. Oh no no. Oh no no. Oh no no. Oh no no. Thank you for the code, Karen. Now I know what to do to get humanity totally off of that cross, to get our feet totally unmummified. Because Anubis, the Jackson is Jackal, Jack. Jackson means son of Jack. Anubis is son of Osiris, whose body was dismembered, but then Isis put it back together. The feminine puts it back together. The body of Christ dismembered. Not really dismembered, but mummified and kind of dismembered. Michael Jackson's body dismembered. Dismembered is a fragmentation. We're talking about DNA slicing. Mutation, fragmentation. Your fragment, your pieces of yourself, your soul fragments, are only possible because of the original infraction or DNA manipulation. We are all getting out of our sarcophagus in this season to have the rebirth. John the Baptist, girl, like 20 years ago or something, I dated a guy, his last name was Baptiste. He was Haitian. Was it John Baptiste? Lord, it's getting freaky. Oh. Even in our own ignorance, we're still living out the source codes. So now we know who got the soul. Anubis. Thank you. And Gail's husband name is Joseph Joe. Wow. Six, 7. Would Michael Jackson have been 67? Get this code. Get this code. My mother passed away at 67. She's also a Jackson. Lord, hold on. Somebody riddle me that. 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 Michael Jackson passed away at 50. It's been 17 years. He would have been 67. My mother passed away at 67. My father was buried on the Last Supper, like, street. Yeah, I know Anubis isn't a bad guy. But here's the thing. Anubis is about to show us, he's about to plug into why we can't say that bad is bad and just good is good. We can't just say it. Because that's what they told us. Oh, wait. So we got to account for it. Anubis, we got to account for the Christ and the polarity, which is what? Satan. We got to account for that. And Anubis is going to actually, see, if you just look at one aspect, oh, Anubis has the souls and he's mummified them. But when you take it back to the other end of the bandwidth, right? Because this is truly what's going on. It's masculine and feminine. You got to have this, the good, right? Take out one O, you get God. Then you got to have, you put an ED on lived, you on evil. You get lived, reverse it. Lived experience. You got the good, you got the bad. You have a lived experience, then you dropped in, and then this is where you get the wisdom. This is the only way to birth out. So we have to pass through Anubis in order to get out of here. And so, in a way, he has our souls. Soulless Joe Jackson. Shoeless Joe Jackson. Soles of the feet go on the ground. Mama Earth's charging pad. Do you see the duality in that? As before, we spoke about our feet needing to be unwrapped so they can be on Mama Earth charging pad so we can ground, so we could ascend. But on the other end, now we got soulless because it all is the duality focal point. That's the whole thing we're trying to get to. We got to collapse it. So we have to experience it. I'm sorry, Anubis. I done had a run-in with you before. And I ain't gonna lie. Anubis, you be attached to people. And that's why we got beef. Is this baby Andrew? If anyone was around 2 years ago when I removed Anubis and we spoke to his higher self and he went back up to heaven and he turned into his 10-year-old self, and then he said his name was now Andrew, and then we started saying that Anubis was his street name, that he was really like, like a sweet child, right? That was just like misunderstood. I don't know, it was a little joke we had. But he do be attached to people. And maybe he's attached to people because I'm going to leave that question mark. But when you plug it in, it's all just to show you the polarity so that you can see the way out. That's just the whole point. Let me sum this message up, girl. Get the heck off the planet. That's the whole thing. Going through the woman's portal. That's the whole point, to show you that. That's what this whole thing is about. Okay, done. I'm done because I just can't no more. Shoeless, soulless. Yep, there you go, Karen. Sum it up. Oh my goodness, Jazzy, 6 + 7 is 13. Oh, slam dunk, alley-oop, shoot. Oh my goodness. Yo, this is crazy. This is some crazy codes. Oh my God, and Gail, this is so crazy. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Crazy. Bliss Singh, your mom was September 25th, 25777. Oh, that's why I love you, Austin. Okay. All right, guys, that's it. Oh, sorry, Bliss Singh. Mom passed away 777. I'm trying to, 7. Okay, that's July. Wow, 7. My mom passed away 7/3, 2017. July 3rd. So literally 30 days from now. And get this, my grandmother's birthday is on July 4th, Independence Day. My mother passed away the day before the Independence Day. So I think this is important, as we are either going to be getting 6 more weeks of winter or our independence, right? These are all codes, and then they are both Jacksons. And that's actually one of my grandmothers, one of my like top guides. That's Mother Jackson right there. She was born in 1919. July 4th. That's 11. Wow. Dang. Both my parents are holding codes. Your mom passed away the day before your birthday. Yeah, because these are the codes. They often do that because you guys are all coded together within your soul contract, usually. Wow, everyone's sharing. And Keish says your dad passed away the day before your birthday. Oh, sept means 7. Yeah. But for us, July means the 7th month, so I always take it as that. But yes, sept does mean 7. You're right. But I always say July because we call July the 7th month. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have really did a big one in the chat. Thank you for loving on each other and supporting each other. And guys, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon, where, you know, it's going to be reformed a little bit to the Spiritual Arts Academy. I did a very powerful teaching on neuroscience and, you know, subconscious programming and all of that. Go ahead and check that out. I got some behind the scenes, a day in the life of a spiritual practitioner. Go ahead and check that out on the Patreon. There are some links down below, and that is one way you can support the channel, support the work that I do. Come on, support these source codes, because it's a lot to pull this stuff through. And guys, if you're interested in becoming a quantum telepathic healer and becoming an apprentice of mine, there's a link down below to book yourself a free consultation to see if this is right for you. It is 100% back money guarantee, girl. If you are not psychic, if you cannot demonstrate the psychic codes, then it's 100% money back guarantee. So you definitely have nothing to lose. And you can always book a session with me, or if you want to work one-on-one with me and put together your own codes and see if you have any of these, you know, holding these collective templates, and you can enroll in my Ascension program. And just email me instructions4humanity@gmail.com. I love you. I love you. I love you. And so it is, as we walk together in divine love. Be well, guys. We'll be back here for more part 2 of this beautiful channel tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more codes. And I will be joined by Austin, by Susanna, by Natalie, by Stephanie, and by Sydney. Okay. Bye, guys. Be well. See you soon. Michael Jackson.